Yeah, like I feel a lot of people look at the Double 11 sales and see like how China economy is doing. It is the magical time of the year again, here in China. I'm not talking about Christmas, I'm talking about something much more exciting, Double 11, which used to be as a celebration for single days that basically became some kind of a Black Friday, let's say, or shopping day for Christmas. So for us European, maybe that date has like a really specific meaning. I do know that in French radio, you would have like every 11th of November, we would talk about like World War One celebration, and at the same time they would mention, oh, and by the way, yesterday or today is the Double 11 in China, and they're just like having a feast of buying a lot of stuff online. Today, so we're going to talk about e-commerce. So just for your information, to understand how big is e-commerce in China, in 2021, China became the biggest e-commerce market in the world, surpassing the USA. As of today, they are basically one big giant in the e-commerce platform, which is Alibaba, with their platform Taobao and Tmall, which have like 50% of the market share. That would represent 750 billion US dollars. So we're talking the GDP of a small East European country like Poland. I'm your host, Aladin Faré. I'm a content producer based in Beijing. Today I'm the host of the show. And I think I should share that the weirdest thing I bought on Taobao, I don't buy a lot, but I think a couple of months ago, there was like this party where the theme was like floral. And I struggled to buy something which was like a bit cheap. So I bought like a really ugly t-shirt that I will never wear again. Next to me, Liu Jue or LJ.
Hi, I'm LJ. I'm the co-managing editor of the World of Chinese and also a senior online shopper with 15 years experience on Taobao. So I have my fair share of silly purchases over the years, but like most recently, I would say this is my favorite. This is a cup with a cute fox. It says O for fox's sake, which is of course unrelated to anything of my daily life.
Next to me, Haley Zhao. Hello.
Uh, Hi, I'm Haley. I'm an editor at the World of Chinese. I have been shopping on Taobao since I was in high school. That was like 10, 15 years ago, same as LJ. And when I moved to Shanghai from Beijing last year, I basically bought my everything in my apartment from Taobao.
So you didn't go like to IKEA, like.
No, because it's way cheaper on Taobao. IKEA is actually kind of high up there in China when it comes to furniture.
Last but not least, Sam Davis. Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam Davis. I am the other managing editor here at the World of Chinese. I just checked my Taobao accounts and it turns out I've spent 97,000 yuan on the platform since 2021. I don't know if that's a lot. To me, that sounds like a lot. And the weirdest thing I've bought recently anyway is a like giant flag for the coronation of King Charles in the UK, which I got from Taobao, obviously made in China. I got from Taobao and it was like 13 kwai. And it's the most like tool thing. Like it's so ugly and tacky is the word. Yeah. But I do love it.
Now I think we should start with maybe the origin of Double 11. So I think I will turn to LJ for this. I think, if I may, you're the most senior
sure,
in the
if I
room.
can. Sure.
But I was wondering, like, if you could share to us, like, how Double 11 started to be like getting big, because it seems like it started as like something funny among students, and then like Alibaba, which is one of the biggest corporation in China, with Jack Ma, who is the head of it, basically saw an opportunity to, kind of ride the rocket, like try to,
Yeah, I think so. I remember, I think the shopping festival started in 2009, but Singles Day it's much earlier than that. It used to be called 光棍节. It's like the
that term
Bare
is,
Branches Festival. Yeah.
that term is not very often used anymore.
No. I remember like on campus there's like silly celebrations and like chopsticks because it's like 11/11. There's a lot of students jokes, celebrations with your single friends. But nowadays I don't know. I don't know if that happens. It's all about shopping now, I think.
It's got getting like overshadowed by
Yeah.
the shopping frenzy. And I feel like now if you talk about 11/11, like Singles Day doesn't really come to mind anymore.
No.
But I think the reason we are here today also to make this video is also to talk about how Double 11 is kind of changing. And it seems that as years go by, basically the celebration starts earlier and earlier.
Yeah, I think didn't it start on Monday, like officially, like Jingdong, JD.com, like another e-commerce platform. They began theirs this Monday. And that's the 23rd of October. And I think it'll go on for like 2 weeks and probably even after the 11th as well. So yeah, now I guess kind of like how Christmas is now starts like earlier and earlier every year, like the same for Double 11. And now all these other platforms, it's not just Taobao anymore. It's like every other e-commerce platform, but also just like shops on the street and yeah, even just like, I don't know, my gym membership, they have like a Shuangshi
Yeah.
like event like where you can get some money off or whatever. So it's like, it is massive. And I think it's become massive across like the whole year as well. So there are so many festivals now. It's not just Double 11. There's 12/12,
Yeah.
which is on the 12th of December.
And it's also kind of getting international because I remember when I was in college, it was my senior year, I was thinking about like buying some makeup from this Californian brand called ColourPop, and I realized they have a Double 11 sales.
Just as of today, like I was checking Best Buy, which is one of the biggest brands to buy computers and whatever in the US. Their Black Friday sales are starting like this week as well. So they also have like 3 weeks of
Yeah.
sales. So it feels like every festival they're just pushing, for the longer
Yeah,
term.
for like electronics, it used to be like Cyber Monday is the day for it, and now it's like now you can buy it.
I think definitely Taobao started with the idea of the Black Friday in the US. They wanted to build a huge shopping holiday from the beginning. That's the idea. They want to be the Black Friday of China. I think that's around 2012. Their total transaction volume in that year exceeded the Cyber Monday in the US. So officially, it just took off. And I remember people talking about it around that time, and we would compare a list. What have you added into your shopping cart? What deals do you have? And we would share those information and wait until midnight and just to place the order because there are limited offers. So every year you would have the news like in the first minute of this year's November 11th, the sales break 10 million RMB. The sales just higher and higher, the numbers just bigger and bigger.
I want to be walked through what people are actually doing
Yeah.
when they're trying to get these deals. Like what types of things do they do and how do they get them? As someone who uses Taobao but doesn't stay up at midnight to get these real deals. Does anyone know?
So it kind of depends on which year you ask this question, because Double 11 and how everything was bought has come a long way since it first started. At first, you buy everything on the clock at 12 on 11/11, and you just click and everything's automatically applied discounts. So what you really need to do in the meantime is to kind of research what kind of deals each merchant is having. In the very beginning, that every sales event, so either it's 50% off or a certain amount of people can buy this product, starts at 12.
Yeah.
And so that's at the very beginning. And then things kind of get evolved, as we mentioned before, the holiday got longer and longer. So now they introduced the concept of pre-sale. So that's when you can pay a deposit. It's usually 20, 50, something kwai. And only if you pay the deposit, you can enjoy the discount on Double 11. And if you don't complete the payment on the day, you lose the deposit. So that's how they got you locked in for a product. No second thought.
That's kind of nasty.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know, is it?
I think there's a bit of a debate about is
Yeah.
that a deposit or like a down payment kind of thing, because the Chinese characters look different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely got more and more complicated over
Yeah.
the years. But the thing for the sellers are they can just raise the price before the holiday and lower on that day. So the consumers are not really getting a lot of discounts. That's the workaround.
We also had on the Middle Earth podcast, which is a podcast which is part of the World of Chinese magazine podcast network, and we had also Dr. Zhang Lin, and she wrote a book about the Taobao village. So there was really a boom in the early 2010s for a lot of entrepreneurs in villages to create their business. And I was asking her like, how do they like or not the Double 11? And apparently it's really half. Like half of the sellers are really happy of this kind of opportunities, and the other half is like, oh the god, why do I have to follow this? Like I just would like to do my sales like everyone else. And it's a bit lukewarm information, but I thought that was quite interesting that not everyone, even in the Taobao village, not that many people were actually sold on that idea of giving huge discount one time a year. What I find interesting also is that I don't know if anyone can take that question, is regarding the fact that maybe we can try to look at China economy, because sometimes it's a bit hard to find data and find evidence regarding how the economy is doing. So I feel a lot of people look at the Double 11 sales and see like how China economy is doing.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the Double 11 figures, they go up every single year.
I mean, it's easy if you start with one day and then 10 years later it's for 3 weeks.
Like 4 weeks. So that's
One
the
day-
thing. And then, of course, like Taobao and those corporations have like an interest in showing that it's getting more and more popular and more people are buying things.
Yeah, they're only going to publish the good numbers. They're not going to tell you, well, this is like the return rate is high up. So
A true cynic. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of motivations for them to do that. The other thing I would say, though, is there are lots of kind of news reports and just from kind of talking to people, there seems to be a kind of trend with some younger urban people to reduce their consumption of like things they don't need, basically. I don't know how widespread it is, but we often hear about this consumption downgrade idea, and a lot of brands that offer like budget options of things. For example, Mishui Bingcheng, which is like a budget milk tea brand here, not sponsoring us. I just very much like them. And even your coffee brand there, which is like a budget coffee brand, they're doing exceptionally well. So I guess like the volume of consumption may still be very high, but maybe people are on the lookout for more cheaper products. I don't know. What do you guys think?
yeah, I think that's kind of true because like a lot of those domestic brands are doing really well right now because they're like cheap. So I guess after this year, if we look at what a lot of people are buying this year, there should be a big difference between now and like 5 years ago.
Yeah, because does Alibaba kind of release the categories of what has been bought, or they just release the numbers?
I think they used to release all kinds of detailed numbers, but last year was really the first year they didn't release or promote any of the numbers. It's probably because they didn't do really well, but because according to what they said the volume is roughly as 2021. The other reason might be at the time the official policy is a little bit like against overconsumption, so that could be one of the reasons. But this year, I feel like since the economy is sort of kind of a stagnant, there is an encouragement of expanding domestic consumption. So I start to see lots of promotions this year again.
That would be my last question. Like apart from Double 11, so we talked also about like Double 12, or they're also like the 18th of June, which is sponsored by JD.com, like basically the Alibaba biggest competitor. So I'm wondering, in terms of numbers, do they do as well as Double 11, or it's?
I think Double 11 like blows them out the water from what I've read. I think it's still Singles Day is the big one.
Yeah, they try to compete for sure. But JD is mostly focusing on computer electronics,
Probably higher value
yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I find interesting is that, a few years back, like Douyin, which is the equivalent of TikTok in China. Well, I mean, TikTok is the copy of Douyin, so let's put it things the right way. But I feel like at the beginning, Douyin, they were really pushing for funny videos and so on. And then you could really see the shift when they started to do more like live stream, e-commerce. Now, I don't really like Douyin because I feel it's just like half of the video are just like people doing sales stuff, and they take a product and they do weird stuff. And I think back then it was interesting to see that people thinking, wow, maybe Douyin is going to be about like take over Alibaba and so on. I don't know, maybe you guys did not believe this, but I thought like that was kind of the story behind this, like live stream and content video platform could maybe take over like the basic app of selling things, and looks like it just did not happen actually at the end of the day.
I mean, like Taobao kind of incorporated live streaming into their whole business model. So I think that's part of the reason ByteDance and Douyin never took off. And even this year, like yesterday, the pre-sale of something officially started, and my mom was like in Li Jiaqi's live stream room the whole night. Yeah.
Li Jiaqi is a leading live stream selling figure. He got off selling cosmetics, and he got he's a top selling like live stream host in China.
He's known as the lipstick king. And yeah, I think that's like a very big change, important change that's happened in like maybe the last kind of four years or so, is like live stream has become massive. When we thought like Taobao might like reach a ceiling, there's like found another way to keep bringing people in to buy more stuff through like these live streamers that bring in just like astronomical amounts of money.
And also you used to can just go into their official store and see what kind of events they're doing, but now a lot of those information are actually in their live stream room. So you gotta go in and check what kind of discount they have.
Smart. All right. Any one last departing thoughts?
Maybe we should start a live stream selling magazines.
We had that idea of someone just sitting in the frog costume and just flipping through the magazine.
It could work.
Okay.
That'd be cute.
All right. Dear listener, dear watcher, if you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the like button and the bell. I'm going to be the frog, like flipping the page, kind of. Meanwhile in China is brought to you by the World of Chinese magazine. So if you want to know more behind the headlines, if you want a more human-centered takes on what's happening in China, don't forget to go on the website, theworldofchinese.com, and don't hesitate also to take a subscription. Today's episode was produced by Zhang Jiayu, who is right there behind the camera, the puppet master, and hosted by me, Aladin Fari. So that will be all for today. Thank you so much again for joining.
Bye.